All right, we are going to start with some brown paper. And these are the pastels that I opened in my unboxing video. And this brown paper is the stuff you've seen me work on my large easel when I'm doing large charcoal and pastel pieces. It's just regular brown roll paper. It has a little bit of texture to it. And we're just going to dive on in here. Let me see. You know what, let's try this orange. Let's start with orange. We'll start with something bright. Okay, I'm not going to draw anything special. We're just going to see how these perform. This is unsanded, straight out of the box. Okay, let's put a little bit down here, see how heavy it can get. That's nice. Right. Let's see what we get out of it. Okay, it's about what I figured. They are, while it's considered a soft pastel, they are a little harder, a little grittier. It's not a high-end, it doesn't feel like a high-end pastel where it has a ton of pigment, but so far, not bad. They feel, honestly, they feel smooth. Not too gritty or anything. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. All right. Let's grab this yellow over here. Let's see what this does. We'll put some in right over it. Ooh, look at that. Putting a fair amount of pressure on this. I'm just see what's gonna happen. You know, that's not bad for what I'm going to be using them for. That's not bad at all. I'm going to say they're not far off from the Contia Paris ones that I use, which are considered a higher end pastel. They're almost double the price, I believe, for something like this. So let's try some blue here. You know, there's just a nice light. Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Let's see what happens here. Yep, getting a little bit of green there. That's good. That's what we want. That's what we would want in a case like that. Okay. Not bad at all. You know, they're pastels. There's gonna be dust. All right, let's see here. Let's pick up like an ultramarine blue here. Just a little, almost kind of like scumbling, just little circular motions, I should say. Oh yeah, these are these are not bad for my purposes. Again, they're not a high-end pastel, but definitely I'm thinking a nice middle grade. They're certainly nicer already than like really inexpensive chalk pastel sets that you might get at a big box store. Not that there's anything wrong with those, because I use those for certain things. Sometimes I want those kind of bright white, chalky-ish colors. They're also really good for when I travel. If I just need a little bit of color for something at an art show and I don't want to, I certainly don't want to take a set of pastels that's, expensive, something that might get broken, ruined at a show. That's nice. I like that. That is not bad. Now I'm not going to try all the colors. We're just trying some stuff here. See what happens. All right, brown. Okay. Yeah, looks good. Let's see. Wipe my fingers off a little bit. Yeah, it's coverage isn't bad. It's like any industry standard stick to hold, same size as a charcoal stick or something like that. They're not very powdery on the outside. It's not quite as powdery as a charcoal stick. It would be something closer. It would be something closer to a Conti Paris drawing crayon. So it's a little bit smoother on the outside, but so it's, not as chalky as not as gritty as a charcoal stick, but nice. Not bad, not bad. Let's see what this is. Curious. If you notice some unwanted colors, it's just because I'm not, when blending, it's because I'm not cleaning my hands. Really, just kind of wiping them off on a cloth. Or my hands themselves, just kind of, just trying to remove some of it. All right. I like that. That's not bad. Let's see what. They work fairly smoothly. I'm not getting into the sticks very far in, but I'm not really getting grit. You don't feel like there's a big chunk of grit or something like sand that's stuck. Sometimes you get that with certain things that are ground. It's not ground finely, and you try to put something down, it feels like you're just dragging like a grain of sand over your work. And we're just making some marks, seeing how type of coverage we get. Yeah, these are kind of right up there in line with the Conti Paris ones. Now the Conti Paris ones I have are probably over a decade old. Picked them up a long time ago. Never got to do anything with them, and then finally decided to start doing something a couple years ago. So I don't think maybe they have changed their recipe since then. I wouldn't know. I haven't tried any of their pastels other than what I own. All right, we're gonna let's grab some red. Let's see what happens here. There's some. Whoops. Well, there you go. It's a little softish. It's all right. That was my own fault. I was putting pressure in the wrong area, but hey, let's face it, they're pastels. That's what happens. There we go. Doesn't bother me. All right, we're going to try a blending stump. This is a fresh one. I did sand it with a little bit of 120, I believe. I like to sand my blending stumps. I don't like them where they have those edges of paper. So the sanding it makes it a bit softer. Not bad. Kind of about what I was figuring. Let's see what happens over there. What if we came back in with a little bit of go. I'm just goofing around here. These aren't any techniques I would necessarily use or anything. Maybe occasionally, but not too often. That reddish pink is really making that difficult to, well, you can see I got a lot in there. Let's see what happens. There. If you want a little bit harder to find line. It's actually making a kind of a neat orange in here because of the yellow and the green. You can see sometimes it's not wanting to stay down. You know. But then again, this is not pastel paper. This is just brown roll paper. So, but it's a decent paper to play around on. It's inexpensive. And I forgot to mention, but while I'm doing these, I have a couple sheets of newsprint down, which is the same thing I would do on my easel, my large easel. This is tone tan Strathmore paper. This is a 9x12 sheet. I have sanded this side. Can't really see much of a difference. This is it's the stuff that comes perforated in a binder, spiral notebook thing. But I like to work on something that has a little more tooth to it. Strathmore's a little too smooth, unsanded for me. So we're going to try this. And this is what I do a little bit nicer pieces on because it is an archival paper. Yeah. And by sanding it, it has a similar tooth to the brown roll paper, but I think it tends to hold whatever I put down on it just a little bit better. playing around with some shapes here, seeing what things look like, seeing how well we can layer it. This is nice. This is very nice. I like this. Strathmore is always a better paper to work on, but like I said, I use the other stuff, especially at shows. I don't want to take a roll, or I don't want to take a pad of Strathmore with me. Just about all the shows I do, you're outside, or every now and then you get the occasional indoor show, and sure enough, that indoor show, it rains either on load in or load out. So I try to keep my nicer materials away from the weather elements. It just I'd rather not. When I'm at shows, I do large format pieces. I'm working on 18 by 24s, and I'd rather not take two pads. I keep saying roll, 2 pads of Strathmore, or even 1 pad of Strathmore to a show, only to have it rained on. If I take the roll and I cut several pieces before I go for a weekend, and if I have 7 to 10 pieces of paper, it's more than enough. And if for some reason those 7 to 10 pieces, something happens to them, they get damaged by the weather, I'm not worried about it. Cost me 50 cents, maybe $1, and a few minutes of cutting time. Whereas Strathmore can, it depends, it can be $1 more a sheet. So yeah, I'm liking these. These feel really, really, really good to work with. I'm just kind of working in some fishy-ish shapes at the moment. Let's try broad strokes here. That's right. Yeah, I brought some sandpaper because I thought maybe I was going to have to sand off the coating on the outside, but I really haven't felt the need to do it. Oh wow, yeah, this is good coverage. So far, I really like these. These are rather nice. If you like what you're seeing, I do have a link to Noor's page on Amazon on my unboxing video. I'll make sure I put one on this video, and if I can find it, I will put a link to the person who I saw initially recommending these. She talked about other types of pastels as well. So when she spoke about these, they just seemed to ring true with me. So that's what I picked up, and I am certainly very happy with them. Getting a decent amount of layering. Once again, this is not pastel paper. I know there's a couple different types of actual pastel paper. One that's a bit grittier, almost like a sandpaper. But I don't work with any of those. I just work with this. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to show you. I'm going to go and just clean this up a little bit. You never get all of it out, but you can get some of it off. There you go. See, got a fair amount of it out. Let's see. Yep. Dark blue is definitely a little bit harder, as they usually are. Yeah. Let's see what happens here. Blending nicely on their own there. Okay. Let's see what happens. And blue gets picked up and carried, doesn't it? Another strong blue. It's coming up a little bit, but once again, not pastel paper. Let's see what this is. That's a bit of almost like a sanguine. That's nice. It's good for figure study right there. It's very dark, it's very intense. Yeah. A bit darker than what an actual sanguine would be, but close enough for certain things. Great for, again, for working in some portraits, depending on the person's skin tone. Might be an option. That looks nice. And by the third layer there, it really kind of covered up. See, I put down just a little bit of chaos there. I like to call them squiggly lines. Yeah, I must say I'm quite happy with these. These are definitely nice. You know, might not use all the colors like this. Not necessarily my type of green, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not necessarily my thing. Let's see what this does. Come back to this bright green that we already used once, but look at that. Nice. Yeah. Not bad. So far, just from this little test, I would have to say that I would recommend them to somebody wanting to take the plunge into pastels. I would certainly think it's a good beginner set. While my use of pastels is limited, There's, with any new medium, there's always going to be a little bit of a learning curve. But here we go. That looks nice. Looks very nice. Here we go. Look at that. That looks good. Some of these I've noticed, like this, would need a little less blending. Some, some colors need a little more blending or softening. I don't know everything about them, but my understanding is that different colors require different binders or different amounts of binder. I think it's different amounts of binder, and that makes them a little bit harder or a little bit softer naturally. Yeah, these have been very fun to just do a little test with. All right, in review, here's the 3 papers we tested on. This is brown roll paper. You can see I got some nice soft look out of it. This is the Tone Tan Strathmore that was sanded. You can see the colors stayed down. They get into the fibers a little bit better on a better quality paper. And then the gray, also a sanded Strathmore paper. The colors do tend to, it seems like they get into the fibers a little bit better. So they're gonna be a little more intense, and you probably won't have to layer as much on something like a Strathmore. But if you're only working with inexpensive paper like that brown roll paper, you're still gonna have a great time with them. And these are a lot of fun. All right, up next I'll be working on a demo piece. We're going to work on either the gray or the tan Strathmore, and it's going to be a charcoal pastel piece. Probably be goldfish. It's a nice simple subject, something I'm very familiar with, so we can work on completing a piece with these and seeing how they turn out. So, thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the demo video.